Hello, and welcome to Tany Talks Live. Today is episode 9 on Tany Talks Live. So that means that next week will be officially season finale next week for Tany Talks Live. Today is episode 9, and next week will be episode 10. I do 10 episodes every season, and today is season 2. Episode 9. Today we are talking about dating as a parent, right? I wanted to ask you guys, have you guys ever dated a parent? Well, I can honestly say I have a lot of experience in that because I am a mom and I am single. So I have some experience dating. And let me tell you something. Dating as a parent is really hard, especially these days and age. Like, I just feel like dating in 2023 alone is hard. So imagine dating in 2023, like, as a parent. I can only imagine, like, the struggles like we go through. Like, just getting back out there, I feel like as a parent is really hard, like when you're dating, because it takes a lot of guts to kind of, after a fair relationship and having kids like that, it takes a lot of trust to kind of want to go back into the dating world. So that's why we're talking about dating as a parent. I'll tell you about, like, my experiences, and I want to know about you guys' experiences if you are a parent dating. Also, even if you've dated a parent, right? Like, have you guys ever dated someone who's a parent even though you're not a parent? Yeah, like, so that still kind of counts as dating as a parent. But I would like to also say that I feel like there's really big differences between dating a mom, right, and then dating a dad. So I kind of wanted to dig in and talk about that, right? Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. I just kind of want to go over, like, the differences, because I feel like there's a huge difference between, like I said, dating a mom and dating a dad. So I want to talk about that. I feel like as a mom, I feel like you actually have less time than I would say a dad would. And maybe I'm a little biased because I am a mom. So I'm definitely going to be on the mom side as far as, like, dating as a parent. But I feel like you have less availability when you're a mom. I feel like you have less time when you're a mom. And I feel like dads actually have more time. Although dads, I would feel like, have less money, right, when they're going back out into the dating world. So you guys let me know, have you guys ever dated a parent? Or, like, is dating a parent, like, completely off limits to people who don't have children? So that's another question. Like, I know probably a lot of single people wouldn't want to date a parent, right? I feel like especially, like, single men, right, will never go for, like, a single mom. I feel like there's this stigma with single moms where it's like, oh, if you have a kid, you're already, like, ran through or whatever. Like, nobody wants a woman with a child already, right? So I wanted to talk about that too, because I feel like that's the kind of bias when it comes to when dads go back out into the dating world and then when moms go out into the dating world. Because I feel like as a mom, like, I feel like you're looked at kind of like a loser or something, like, if you weren't able to keep your family together. Like, it's always like, oh, what did she do? Was she scandalous? Did she cheat? Did she do anything like that? And then I feel like guys don't want to go for girls who are moms, right? Like, let's say me out in the dating world, right? I'm 31. I'm about to be 32. And I'm over here competing with girls who, in this day and age, right, aren't really having kids. So that's what makes it hard, because it's like, why would you date me, right? An almost 32-year-old with a almost preteen daughter, when you can date a 25-year-old who doesn't have any kids. So I feel like it makes it hard for me as a mom in the dating world, because who's gonna want to date, like, a mom when you can choose to date someone who doesn't have kids? So, like, I feel like that makes it harder for me in the dating pool, because a lot of these younger women are not having children, and I would prefer to date a guy, believe it or not, who doesn't have kids. So it's like, why would a guy who doesn't have kids want to date a woman who has kids? You know what I mean? Like, he's probably gonna be like, no, like, I'm gonna be baby daddy number 2. Nobody wants to be baby daddy number 2. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna see if I can have someone join here and tell me what your experience is dating as a parent. because I have a hard time. Like, I can get dates and stuff like that, but I feel like it's really hard to, like, for someone to take me seriously, because I feel like moms are more serious when it comes to being committed in relationships, right? I feel like dads are less committed. Like, a guy, after he's been in a relationship and he's had kids and he gets back out there, he wants to be a hoe. He wants to go. He wants to have fun, even though the moms do too. But it's a stigma between, like, a guy going out and a dad going back out into the dating world, and then a mom going back out into the dating world. I feel like it's a very big, like, difference, and it's seen very differently in society. I'm gonna read off some comments here. It says, as a single man, I can't see myself taking care of another man's kid. You see, that sucks, because I get that, but it's like, so that makes it harder on the single mom, because it's like, dang, like, ain't no single guy gonna want to date somebody who has kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't see yourself taking care of another person's kid. Like, that really sucks. You know what I mean? And I feel like, but women, on the other hand, let's say single women, right? Single women would date a guy with kids, though, because we don't look at it as nothing weird. We actually, as women, we'd like to see a man being a dad. You know what I mean? So as a single woman, you'll look at a guy with a dad like, oh my God, like, he's such a good father. I would love to have a kid with him. You know what I mean? So he gets all of that. And I feel like it's very rare that women get the whole, oh, she's a good mother. I can see her taking care of my kids. You know what I mean? You're like, no, I'm not taking care of her and none of her kids. You know what I mean? So it makes it much, much harder. I'm going to read off some comments here, because it does make it harder on the single moms. It does. And that's why I'm saying, like, no lie, I've been kind of single for like a couple years. You know what I mean? Because it's harder for me to date, I feel like, because a lot of these guys want to sleep around. No, you're not coming to my house because my kid is in this house. You know what I'm saying? And or I feel like I could also be manipulated. I feel like some guys only want to talk to you because they know that you got your own crib. Obviously, as a single mother, you know that I'm getting money because I'm sitting here paying my own rent, taking care of my kid. So some guys are manipulative in that kind of way too. So I feel like I don't trust guys sometimes, because I'm like, no, sir, you are not about to come stay at my house. I am not about to cook and clean for you, because you know that I'm already doing it for my kids. So it's like, yeah, she's definitely gonna cook some dinner. Yeah, she's definitely gonna like wash my clothes and stuff like that. So I feel like that makes it weird, so I don't trust it. Like, I feel like, and the other way around, when it's like men, I feel like it's okay to have kids when you're a man, because women look at it more so like, oh, okay, this is somebody who could be a provider, who could take care of their kids. And so it's different. And I feel like guys could also date younger women. Like, I feel like, like, I'm old news after a while. Like, I truly feel like that. And it's like, it's hard for me, because I feel like I will also just rather stay by myself if that's the case. I'm gonna read off some comments because it's kind of going off here. What's why women are quicker to be a stepmom? Yeah, women are quicker to be a stepmom, because they be like, oh, qué lindo, like, but guys are not really willing to be stepdads. Like, I feel like it might be harder for dads to be stepdads, or maybe easier for dads to be stepdads, because in my experience, right, when I'm dating someone, right, me having a good baby father makes it harder on the guys that I'm dating for some reason, right? And it's like, if I had an ain't piece of shit ass baby father and he wasn't really there, then the next guy I would talk to, I feel, would be less intimidated, right? Because there's no nigga really involved. Okay, yeah, she got a kid, but her baby daddy ain't there. I ain't gotta worry about no nigga. But when you got a baby daddy, right, and he actually takes care of your kid good, you know what I'm saying, and y'all have a good co-parenting relationship, that shit is so intimidating to other guys. And like, I don't understand why, because it's like, do you want me to be like a bum ass single mom, like, in order for you to mess with me? Like, why are you so intimidated by me having a good co-parenting relationship for you dating me and my kid? A lot of the times there are guys who be like, oh, well, she's still sleeping with her baby daddy, or he's still sleeping with his baby mom, because you know how that always goes. And that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, most of the time they're really not together. They're just trying to co-parent. But even good co-parenting on mother's ends makes them deemed like less dateable in society. But guys who have good co-parenting skills, right, are considered so valuable within the dating industry. And I feel like but I feel like that's so weird, and it makes it so hard on like really good moms, you know what I mean? Or like you have to be an ain't shit ass mom and then a guy takes you more seriously. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's so hard for me in particularly to date in the world. I'm just gonna read off another comment. But as a mom, it is also hard to let another man parent your child. That's where I think it becomes intimidating. I mean, yeah, it does. So, I mean, aside from the guy feeling like that, I also feel weird too because, like I said, I have a daughter, right? I'm a woman, and I get nervous because I don't want nobody looking at my damn child. Like, that's one of the biggest things, like for me, and I'm sure dads feel the same way. Where it's like, um, I don't want anybody looking at my kid. I don't want nobody touching my kid. I don't trust nobody around my daughter. My daughter is about to be the preteen ages where if somebody looks at her, I kid you not, like I will fucking lose my mind. Like I will really like harm the person that I'm dating if I feel like you looked at her to any kind of way. Like that's my biggest fear. Not for nothing, like dating in the world. I would rather not date anybody because I feel like I won't be able to trust anyone like around her. Like I just, it's so freaking hard. And I pray to God that I do eventually do find a man where I feel like I could be comfortable enough around him. But I'm even still, we could be married and I'm still gonna just feel weird until my daughter moves out of the home. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna be like kind of cautious about it because that's one of the fears as a mom. And I feel like as dads, do you guys ever think about that? Like, do you guys ever be like, you know, you have daughters too. So where you feel like, you know, is your girlfriend like jealous of your daughter? Like, cause I feel like that could be a jealous thing where it could happen on the dad's end. I mean, I'm not a dad, but I'm just thinking from like a man's point of view and how, you know, dating as a dad would be versus dating as a mom. And if you guys are dads or have any experience with that, you guys can get on the live and tell me like your experiences. Because I don't know what's like, you know, to date as a dad. And I'm sure as a mom, I don't want to feel like I'm the only one that goes through this, even though I'm probably feeling I'm being a little sexist because I feel like guys have it a lot easier when it comes to dating. But tell me if I'm wrong. Like, do you guys feel the same way? Do you guys feel like these bitches are weird and they're gonna like like let's say you had a son, right? For the gentleman out there, you have a son, right? And then you're dating and this girl, like, do you ever feel like a girl would like touch your son and do something inappropriate to your kid? Because I be seeing things on like the TV shows and whatnot, and I be seeing them say how like, oh, this girl that they were dating harmed their kid, and I'd be like, I swear to God, like if these people touch my kid, like, do you guys ever think about that? Like, yo, what if I leave her with my kid and something happened to my kid one day? You know what I mean? Whether it's inappropriate touching, whether it's like mal or malicious. And then I even hear about these crazy ass moms, oh my God, that get into relationships, right? And then want to kill or harm their children because of the guy that they're with, right? Because even they can be jealousy from your new partner, right? So let's say you do get like another successful relationship and you have had a kid and that person is not the parent to the kid that you had. Like, do you feel like that person would treat you like your kid weird? And I be seeing like those shows where like this mom hired someone to like kill her kid because she wanted to be like with the guy, and then he felt like he was jealous of the child, where he felt like he wasn't getting enough attention and it was all about like the kid, right? So I would honestly say, like, if you guys are dating a parent, like, you guys have to be strong about it. Guys have to understand that the child still comes first, you know? And I know that it sucks, but it's true. Like, when you're dating as a parent, like, you have to like fall back a little bit and understand that there's a person there that means more than your relationship. Because I'm sorry, like, as much as I'm gonna love my next man, you know, to be or whatever, my daughter comes first, bro. Like, she's gonna come first, and she needs to mean maybe not as much to me as to you, but you have to understand and respect how much that she means to me. You know what I mean? If something makes my daughter feel uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but it makes her feel uncomfortable. And I'm going to tell you about it. And my daughter's comfortability means the most to me. You know, let me read off some comments here because I went past a few. They say choose wisely who you have kids with, period. It's scary. I mean, yeah, I mean, let me talk about just picking the father of your kids is just scary. You know, I got lucky, you know, my daughter has a good dad, you know what I mean? And I hope you guys have good baby mamas, because I feel like that's another thing that I would think about, maybe jealousy, because women jealousy is like a whole nother thing, right? So like for you guys out there, and when you guys move on, I always hear about like stories about like baby mothers being jealous because you're moving on in your relationship, and then they start to tell you guys that you can't see your kid no more because you're dating someone. Like, how is that? I would never do that to my baby daddy. Like, honestly, I would not tell him, oh, you can't see your daughter because you're dating someone else, because I'm not a bitter ass bitch. I'm very happy that he's, you know, moving on and being in a relationship, you know. And I look at it honestly as more people to love the child, right? Like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and it didn't work and y'all had kids and that person ends up being with someone and being happy and having more children, and you end up being with someone, being happy and having more children, that means your child now has more siblings. Your child now has more, you know, mother and father figures in their life. And I feel like that's something really good that your kids can have. Like, why would you stop your children from having other influences within their lives that could be super beneficial to them? Because granted, like, don't ever think that, because a lot of women out there don't ever think, and a lot of men out there don't think that because your child has a stepfather or a stepmother that they're taking your place in any kind of way. Your child knows, if you were in their lives and you were a prominent figure in their life, they would know, this is my mom and this is my dad. No one can replace my mother and my father. They're who I am to the day that I die. And then I have my stepmom and my stepdad, who are extensions of them, you know, who also love me too. I feel like it's really hard sometimes for people to embrace that person for their kid. I feel like, you know, and if I was to move forward, I know it'll like probably bother like my daughter's father, because my daughter's a daddy's girl, you know what I mean? So when I start to date, you know, and I take somebody seriously, and when she has a stepdad, you know, I know he's probably gonna feel a little weird and a little uncomfortable about it at first. Like, that nigga's around my daughter. She don't need a daddy. She got a daddy. She don't need a stepdad. But it's like, you know, don't look at it like that. Just look at it as more people to kind of love your kid. I'm going to read off some comments. It goes, but as a mom, it's also hard to let another man around your child. Okay, we read that one. I'm sorry. It says play dates are cool, but invite over to the crib is different. Exactly. Let's talk about that. I feel like at one point in time, do you even introduce, right, your significant other to your kids? I feel like that's always like an age-old question, right? It's like, how long is too long, or how short is too short, right? Because I feel like, I would say like maybe 6 months down the line would be good, and depending on how serious you're feeling about that person, right? Because we got to talk about the basic dating stages, right? So when you're first dating somebody, it depends on how many times you're seeing them, right? So if you're seeing them a lot in like a short period of time, you might want to introduce them to your kids a little sooner, you know, like 3 months maybe. But I feel like after 6 months, maybe you would want to, depending on how serious you guys are. If you guys are just like flinging it out, maybe after a year is a year too late. I don't know. I feel like, for me personally, I feel like a year might be a little too late. Probably like 10 months would be like just enough time. Because I feel like once you've been with someone for a year, right, and then like you slowly start to introduce them to your kid, and what if your kid doesn't like them? And I feel like, oh my God, I just wasted a whole 365 days dating this person, and my kid doesn't even like them, you know? So I wanted to ask you, like, what do you guys feel like are good good times to make someone meet your kid, right? Because I mean, eventually they're gonna have to meet your kid. There's no way you can sit here and have a full-blown committed relationship with someone when, like, they haven't even met your kids yet. And to be honest, I probably would want to do it sooner. I would say maybe 3 to 6 months, depending on how often I'm seeing them, to introduce them to my kid. Because if I feel like the relationship between them and my kid is off, I'm gonna have to break it off. And I would rather break it off earlier than to be sitting there, fell head over heels for you, and my kid does not like you. Because there's no way that I'm sorry, if my kid feels weird about you and they tell me, my kid comes first. My kid comes first. My kid is number uno, okay? You'll be number 2 or 3. You know what I mean? So let's read off. No girl can come around my daughter until I know we are really going to be something. See, that's what I'm saying. I love that from a dad, and I really appreciate your input on that, Kobe, because I feel like I feel like as a dad, I want to know more. I want to know more about like the whole dating field. I don't want to come off as super sexist because, like I said, I'm a mom, but I do feel like it's easier for guys. I feel like it's easier for guys to go back into the dating field and be less serious going forward, right? They don't have to take anyone serious, but I feel like as a mom going forward, you kind of want to be more serious. I feel like, me personally, family is everything to me, right? Like, I love having a career. I love going to school and doing all those things, but family means a lot to me. Family is actually like one of the top tier things that, you know, are important to me. So being that I had a kid and I didn't have that successful family unit that I imagined, like, no person imagines to be a single parent. Like, no one does. No guy goes into it thinking they're going to end up breaking up with their girl, and no girl goes into it thinking that they're going to break up with their girl. And then there are those weird circumstances where you ended up having a kid with somebody you weren't with in the beginning, but we're not talking about those situations because those situations, I feel like, were doomed anyway. But I am talking about those situations where you do move forward, you know, and, you know, for women, I feel like it's harder to move on than it would be for a guy to like move on, you know, because, I feel like women are just left like with so much more hurt after a breakup than it would like a dad after a breakup. And I know you guys said that you wouldn't really have nobody around y'all kids until y'all know that it was something, but how do you even know that it's something, right? I'm going to keep reading off these comments. It says, parents should date parents. In other words, single dads and single moms will be more understanding to each other's lifestyles. I hear what you're saying, right? But I prefer guys that don't have kids. Like, I find it weird. So this is my thing. I feel like parents should date other parents, right? But not all parents are good parents either. Like, let's be real. Like, a lot of these guys, not to say nothing, but I feel like a lot of y'all men don't be even taking care of their kids. So it's like, why would I even go and have a kid with a nigga that barely take care of his kids? You know, because if I'm dating you, I'm going to notice little shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be like, okay, you want to hang out with me all the time, but why you not hanging out with your kid? You understand? You want to take me out? When was the last time you took your kid out? You know what I'm saying? And when I start getting like that, I dated a guy who had a kid and I started to get like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you asking me what I want for Christmas, but you're not asking what your kid wants for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, worry about your kid first and then you worry about me. And you know, that becomes weird in a relationship where you got to kind of check somebody and be like, yo, you slacking as a parent. And I know you slacking as a parent because my baby father could never. You know what I'm saying? So that makes it a little intimidating where they'd be like, you know what? I'm not even going to date her. And I feel like in a way where I'm not even going to date him either because, like, there's a 50-50 chance that the guy that I'm dating ain't even a good parent anyway. You understand? Them girls that are single, that don't have no kids, they could go ahead and they could deal with the deadbeats. You know what I'm saying? And they'll believe whatever dumbass story he made up about his baby mother to that girl. But when it comes to a parent dating another parent, I see right through niggas sometimes. Because I be hearing the stories, like, because, you know, I've dated guys with kids too. I be hearing the stories with some guys, not even dating, I be talking to them, right? And I hear the stories and I see how they treat their baby moms. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. Once I start seeing that you disrespect your own baby moms and you be talking down on your own baby moms, I can't fuck with you. And I know that because I would never talk badly about my baby father really either. Even if he was a shitty baby father, which he really isn't. But even if he was, I would protect that nigga's honor because at the end of the day, I'm gonna look like a fool. And y'all don't even be realizing that half of y'all niggas be looking like a fool when y'all out here talking shit about y'all baby moms to the next girl that y'all talking to. Now, like I said, those younger women that don't have no kids will probably believe that shit. But the good moms that really be out here, you know, they see through the smoke, you know? So I've talked to guys who are always portraying they fucking baby mothers badly. And I'm like, yo, I really cannot talk to you because you sound like you're just making excuses for being a poor ass dad. And I'm supposed to understand. Like, I cannot stand guys who are fucking parents, right? And they're around the next bitch kids more than they're around their own kids. Like, that's really sad to me. Honestly, I could truly say that. Like, I cannot see it. Like, I be seeing moms and shit like that too, but it's like, oh, like, bitch, how you sitting there buying more shit for that nigga's kids than you buy for your own motherfucking kids? How is it that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that is so weird. Like, I see those situations and it just like grinds my gears to even see it. Oh my gosh. But, you know, for me personally, I feel 50-50 about it. I've been more open to dating guys who are parents now just because it makes it easier for me, like, to have a daughter and probably to be okay with that. I feel like if I dated a girl dad, I would feel way more comfortable because I'm a girl mom. You know what I'm saying? And I know that probably you guys would feel more better, like, if you guys had a girl, if you had a son and she had a son. So it'd be cooler for them to even hang out. Because I feel like it's weird too when you start to blend families together, right? So let's say, you know, like, I'm dating a guy, he has a son, and I have a daughter and she's teen. And what if our kids start to fucking like each other? That'd be weird. Or like even introducing your kids to one another. I feel like that's a hard step in itself, because what if you guys like each other, right? Your kid likes you, the kid likes me, but the kids don't like each other. So then they'd be like, God damn, what are we gonna do? Like everything is perfect. Like I like your kid, my kid likes you, we like each other, but our kids don't like each other. So it's like that's also like a thing that I get to think about when it comes to blended families. I feel like it might be a little easier for me to go ahead and just date a guy who has no kids. Now, me dating a guy that has no kids does not mean that the man does not have experience with children. So that's the difference between the two things. I like to date a man if he doesn't have any children, to at least have some sort of experience with children, because there are a lot of men out here, granted, although they are not dads, they are really amazing uncles, they are really amazing cousins, you know, they are really amazing godfathers and stuff like that, and they take really good care of the children within their family, and they kind of get how it goes, you know, especially men that come from households that have a lot of women. You know, he might not have any kids, but he might have a sister, and he might have a niece and nephew, or he has a mother and have little or younger siblings, so he was kind of there helping his mom, like raising those kids. So in those retrospects, I feel like that's my doorbell ringing. I feel like in that retrospect, it makes it a little different, you know. I want to talk about breaking up, because I feel like breaking up in a relationship makes it hard when that person isn't your kid anymore, right? Because like I've heard stories from guys, right, that's dated other women with kids, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, we broken up. Fuck you and them kids." You know what I mean? But it'd be like I hear those stories and I'd be like, dude, you did not just tell me you was with that girl for however long that you was with her. Because right, I told you I dated single guys, so a lot of the single guys have dated mothers before, right? So and they're like, nah, I never talk to the kid ever again. And I'd be like, that's fucked up. Like you was in that kid's lives from, you know, 2-3 years or whatever it was. You know, those kids were small. Like you meant something to those children, and then all of a sudden you broke up with them and they not with you anymore. And that's another thing why I feel like it's hard for me to date as a parent as well, because I haven't actually had, you know, a serious dating commitment with someone who had children, right? So I wouldn't know how that would work, because like what if your kid starts to love me? You know, me as a sucker, if I date a guy who has a kid and I end up really falling in love with their child, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard for me to kind of detach. Because you know, I might even try to keep making it work with that person because I'm so invested into their children, you know, because I'm such a family person, you know. Or like, how would you check in with those kids? Like, do you still check in? I need to know, like, what do you guys do? Because like I said, I don't date people with kids, but when you break up with somebody you dated that had a kid, do you guys still talk to their children? Put in the comments below. I need to know, because I mean, no, I mean, my daughter only met one person and she never spoke to them ever again. And literally she saw him and then the next day she never saw him again. Like it was that serious. After he done met her, I was just like, nope, this ain't gonna work. He ain't gonna meet it. He ain't gonna meet her like ever again or see her ever again. I could see that working. Hi guys, thank you for joining. So I want to talk about also like how many kids is too many kids when it comes to dating, right? Because I feel like, okay, now that I have to really like lower my standards, I might have to go ahead and just talk to a dad anyway, because like you said, single man ain't trying to raise my daughter, you know what I'm saying, or be step happy to nobody's, you know, kids or whatever. But so if you do date a guy with kids, like how many kids is too many? Because I feel like one, because I only got one, so you gotta have one. If you got 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not happening. Like for me personally, I feel like maybe two, but it gotta be with the same baby moms. Like I can't be doing the whole you got 2 kids, 3 kids, 3 different baby mamas, and then God forbid you have a kid with me, and then you know, you wanna make me your 4th baby moms. So I want to thank you guys so much for getting on Tany Talks Live today. Like I mentioned, we have today is episode 9. Next week is episode 10. Episode 10 will be the season finale. So you guys look forward to the poll for the new Tany Talks Live. Bye. Coming. so pissed off. That fucking name of the fucking daughter was mad annoying during my whole life. Huh? It's ended? Yeah, I had to end it because this nigga was knocking on the door, fucking doing mad shit. Why is my shit all wet? Like, you have my shit outside? It's raining. What? Let me just save it.